Your hand goes into the bag. Nothing, just air, again and again, until finally, a chip. You've been told this is a scam, a ripoff, a company betting you won't do the math on how much of that bag is empty. Here's the twist. A food scientist could stand next to you right now and tell you that air is doing 4 separate jobs, on purpose, all at once. One of those jobs is protecting your chips from literally rotting in front of you. Working out why is most of what we do on the smart side. Another one is illegal in some cases, and companies have actually been sued over it. Stick around, because by the end you'll know exactly which parts of that empty bag are honest engineering, and which part is the company just messing with you. That gas isn't regular air. It's nitrogen, pumped in at the factory, right before the bag gets sealed shut. Why nitrogen? Because oxygen destroys chips. It reacts with the fat in them and turns it rancid, the same reaction that browns a cut apple. Nitrogen doesn't react with anything. It just sits there. That's the whole job. So that puffed-up bag isn't empty space. It's a bodyguard. It's pushing oxygen out so your chips stay crisp for weeks instead of going stale in days. Now, here's the part that actually explains why the bag feels different depending on where you buy it. And it has nothing to do with the factory. A bag gets sealed at ground level in a plant in, say, Ohio. Then it rides a truck up into the mountains or flies in a plane's cargo hold. Up there, outside air pressure drops. But the gas sealed inside the bag doesn't drop with it. So, with less pressure pushing in from outside, the bag expands. Sometimes it looks ready to pop. That's why a bag in Denver looks tighter and rounder than the same bag in Miami. Same chips, same nitrogen, different pressure pushing on the plastic from outside. But there's a second reason for all that space. And this one's about the chips, not the physics. Potato chips are absurdly fragile. Pack a bag completely full, edge to edge, and the chips at the bottom get crushed to dust before the truck even leaves the warehouse. That nitrogen cushion is bubble wrap. It absorbs every drop, every bump, every forklift ride. Here's the number that makes this real. Chips shipped with that gas cushion break at under 5%. Chips packed tight with barely any air can break at rates over 20%. That's the line between a bag of chips and a bag of crumbs with a few survivors on top. If that one stat just changed how you'll open your next bag, hit like. That's the whole reason this channel keeps digging these up. So, 2/3 of that air is protecting the chips. But there's a third reason, and it's the one that actually deserves your suspicion. It's called slack fill. Empty space in packaging that exists for no reason except to make the bag look bigger on the shelf than what's actually inside. The Fair Packaging and Labeling Act has been used to sue food companies over exactly this for decades. So yes, some of that air really is the company gaming how the bag looks in your cart. But researchers who've studied chip packaging, including testing labs run by the snack companies themselves, found that slack fill is the minority of the space. The oxygen shield and the shock absorber make up most of it. Which brings us back to your hand, disappearing into that bag, coming up empty over and over before it finds a chip. That air was blocking oxidation. It was cushioning a bumpy truck ride. It was reacting to real pressure changes at 10,000 feet. And yes, a small slice of it was marketing, doing exactly what slack fill laws exist to catch. All 4 things happening in the same puff of gas every single time you open a bag. Subscribe if you want the next one of these before it goes wide. It's free, and it's the only thing that tells this channel to keep making them. So next time that rush of air hits your hand before a single chip does, don't feel cheated. That bag survived changing air pressure and a warehouse full of forklifts, and it still got you whole, crisp chips. The empty space was never empty. It was working the entire time. You just never noticed until now.